Well, real quick, I just wanted to do a video on this skid steer that me and my buddies have been working on. We picked this thing up pretty cheap, around $300. It had a Ford Pinto motor in it. Originally, these Erickson skid steers came with a Wisconsin motor. I guess they were just known for not being able to handle their own power. And then somebody at some point must have put a Ford Pinto motor in it. And the motor that was in it leaked a bunch of oil. I never got it running. It turned over, it needed too much work in order to actually get that one running. And it just probably wasn't worth it in the end. It was a carbureted Pinto motor. I don't know. Anyways, I took that out, went and picked up a Harbor Freight 670. Originally, to test the hydraulics, we wanted to make sure the hydraulics and everything, the pump and everything was good before we even did anything with this thing. I know it sounds silly, but we tried using a Harbor Freight 212 just because I had it laying around. And we found out it wasn't even enough power to get it started because the pump was fighting back so much. So then we went up to the 420cc, and it ran and drove, but it was just really gutless. And so I went back and traded it for the 670. It's a pricey engine. It's like $1,000, but it was definitely worth it. The engine, the skid steer, $1,300, and then little odds and ends like bolts and whatever, probably around $1,500 into this thing total. And it does what I need it to do. Moves cars around. It digs deep holes and moves a lot of dirt, whatever. What else? Somebody at one point extended back the counterweights. You can see they like fab that up. It has two fuel tanks, one there, one there. I tried using them, but it just keeps clogging up fuel filters with rust, and I just haven't had the time to pop the tanks out the bottom and clean them. So I'm just using this random tank I had laying around. It's jerry-rigged up there. It works though. The small tank, what is it, like a gallon, if even, half gallon, 3/4 gallon. It lasts quite a long time for what I use this thing for. I mean, I'm not driving it constantly. Yeah, I'm surprised for how long it lasts with the big 670. I have that fuel filter there. It came off a random truck that I had laying around. Just because I was sick of cleaning fuel filters, and that one was laying around. It was nice. So anyways, got the cage on. I don't know why they cut there and there, but I'll get that fixed eventually so I don't smash my head into one of those things. I got it all greased up. I got this thing working to where I need it to work, and I told myself it was gonna be temporary, and everybody knows how that goes. It's more like a permanent thing. Like I need to fix the exhaust. I had a piece welded there that went out the back, and the pipe was just too heavy, so I'm gonna have to do it again and then make a mount so that it holds itself up. Same with all this weight up here. I'm gonna have to run some brackets down to like mount them down there. Right now the exhaust is pushing out against this tube, or this hydraulic piston, ram, whatever you want to call it, and it's heating this up, and that causes the whole hydraulic system to get hot. But I don't run it very long at all. This line leaks too. I was able to use the stock, or the Harbor Freight factory key ignition setup. I just moved it over, and then I extended some of the wires. I used heat shrink ones, but never even shrunk them. Whatever, it works. I got this thing with no seat. So I took a lawnmower seat and fabricated that up. It flips up and whatever. For the drive shaft or coupler, whatever you want to call that, That one was already set up kind of like that with the Pinto motor, so we kind of copied that design, but then this side of the chain, the engine side of the chain, it's like a double roller chain. We replaced that with the size that we needed for the motor, and it took me a while to get everything centered up. It was a lot of math, and I'm not good at math and whatever, but I got it to work, and I'm happy with how center it is. It doesn't shake or nothing. Because I didn't mount, oh come on, that bracket right there for the exhaust, I didn't mount it to the engine, so the motor shakes the exhaust a lot. The exhaust shakes a lot, and something inside the exhaust is broken and it rattles really loud. So when I start this thing up, if you hear that, that's what it is. I believe that Harbor Freight motor is like 22 horsepower or something like that. Yeah, I think it's 22 horsepower. And these skid steers from factory, the Wisconsin motor, I think only had like 16 or 18 horsepower around there. Yeah, I don't know. It, like I said, it does what I need it to do. Obviously, this car doesn't have a motor in it, so it's kind of light. But, I mean, this thing picks up quite a bit of weight for how small it is. It gets the job done for sure. Climb into here. So here's the controls. This thing's kind of packed in here, but it works. So to start it, every time I start it, I have to pull the choke just a little bit. I don't know why. It will start without choke. It just takes a minute, so I just choke it right away. Even when it's warm, it's like that. I never have to adjust the throttle. I have it where I like to have it, unless I'm stopping. This thing doesn't have a parking brake, so I have to shut it off every time I get out of it. Oh, that's another thing. These have to be like perfectly in neutral in order for the motor to turn that pump over. It works good. It works good. I'm really happy with it. Around me, there's no way I'm finding a operating skid steer for around $1,500. I mean, they're out there, but they have major issues. And I know this thing isn't the prettiest, but it really doesn't have any issues. The issues it has, I'm fine with, you know, like the exhaust. I got to route that out the back, and oh, I have a car battery in here for the electric start, but I got to fix that hydraulic fitting. And I mean, easy stuff, you know, just stuff I can handle. Whereas skid steers at Marketplace for around this price, they're going to have the wheel motors are not going to work, or the chain's going to be broken on the inside, you know, stuff that I wouldn't really want to mess with for that price, because I'm a cheap ass. Another thing, the Pinto gauge, or whatever the gauges they had in here for the Pinto motor, I plan on hooking something up like that for the Predator motor, because these things do have pressurized oil sending units, so I can run an oil line and get that. I'm sure they sell temperature wires for these Predator motors. If not, whatever, doesn't need it. I'll route the electricity up here for the amp meter, whatever. And then this switches from the 420cc that I had here for running that motor. I'll just change that into like lights on, and then maybe horn something. Anyways, yeah, this is Predator swapped skid steer. It's like a 1970s something Erickson. It's the exact same thing as a Ford CL series, like a CL30, CL40, those skid steers. But anyways, yeah, I've rambled on long enough. 10 minutes now. Thanks for watching. Yeah, see you guys later.